plate on the left-hand side of your start grid, that is Stephen Clark riding a Stark Varg Future. So electric bike now in British motocross. Now, if you follow all this, you know that the Starks are pretty dynamic. No clutch drag, obviously, just instant power. So let's see what kind of reaction time Clarky gets out of the gate here.
Here we go then. 5-second board is up. They're away. It's a clean start. That looked like a good jump for Conrad Muse in the centre of the gate. Let's see who gets there first.
Conrad, I think, in the blue.
I think it is.
Right where he needs to be. Was it?
Oh, that's a Ben Edwards there in second, I think.
Ben's made a fly, yeah, and that's Watson in third. But that's definitely Conrad. Unless it's Carpenter.
No, I think that's
Conrad.
It's definitely Conrad, and then Edwards there on the KTM in second. The man from... he's on the back of Beyond in Scotland. He travels hours and hours and hours.
Oriel in second.
Oh, is Oriel? I thought
yes.
it was right, okay, so you're right, it is the 83 of Oriel Oliveira. I thought it was the 33 on the back. Oh, it's the top three in the championship.
Yeah, look at that.
In reverse
Get
order.
on. This is going to be good.
This is what we wanted to see.
And of course, Ben Watson, he knows his way around here. He had that titanic battle with Hurlins. What was that, 2 or 3 years ago? I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh, he was on a factory Yamaha. It was his first ride on a 450 Yamaha.
Yeah, brilliant that was. Yeah. So, he knows how to go quick round here. All these riders I've spoken to in the last 24 hours, Conrad in particular. Conrad, look at Oriel, he's given it some. Conrad come to the Michelin Academy, 125 Academy last night. He was absolutely brilliant with the kids. He was honest, open. He really put his heart out there and explained how, like, this sport can knock you sideways. But anyway, enough of that. Let's look at this, because Oriel is trying to make those early moves. Oh, goes into
the
light,
shadows.
into dark.
And that's, again, you've got to be so careful. If the berm gets blown out, you don't know it's not there until you get there and you're in the trees. But down in again, these downhills get so stepped out through the day. Oliver trying to cut a tighter line there, Jeff. Watson still there in third, just dropped off a little bit.
Look at the pace of the top three already. They've got a probably 2.5-3 second gap.
Now our Pico MX1 Race 1, our premier class here at the Motul ACU British Motocross Championship. They drop down into this right-left chicane. There we are. We've got a K-Tech banner on the roof of the.
You just realise what's keeping us the sunlight from coming through.
So we've got a lovely K-Tech flag on the roof there, keeping us not just cool, but also keeping the light levels here so we can see the monitors. And it is Conrad Muse then on the Crendon True 7 Honda that leads across the line by 0.8 on the second from Oriel Oliver, the man on the Gabriel SS24 Factory Juniors KTM.
Zero making a good start there, look, in 8th, not bad, first time at Lyng. Let's see if he can actually stay there, obviously, because it's a brutal place. Well, Conrad absolutely coming in hot there. That was just a little reminder of how quick he was going. He probably caught him a little bit off guard. This part of the circuit, by the way, I've got to say, that switchback, when you land off that jump next to the pond and you go left and right, is one of the fun places in British motocross. It's a brilliant section. You kind of sling from one and you can go the inside, outside. It's awesome, that section. I used to love going through there, and it looked like Conrad certainly did, and he has really put it down now. He's got his sighting lap in effectively at race speed, and now he's like, right, because Oriel was showing interest, and here comes Watson.
Yeah, Ben, he's not dropping off too far. It's Jamie Carpenter in fourth, so Carpenter from Purden, from Taylor Hamill, then Tom Grimshaw. Duro is up there in 8th, Husband 9, and Eddie Wade in 10th. He was Edwards in 11th, so the KTM mounted rider is just outside of the top 10. Stevie Clark then, currently running 16th, again, 85cc world champion, a recent dad, which is why he wasn't at, I think, round 1 at Auckland, because his partner gave birth and he wasn't at the race.
So Phoenix Tools fastest lap of the race. Well, you'll be not really much to work out. It's going to be Conrad Muse setting the pace so far, but now this is their first complete full lap, so let's see if he actually betters that. I'm sure he will. Second lap around, they heart rates up, breathing's more stable, exactly as I expected. He goes quicker with a time of 2:08.496, 1.5 seconds roughly quicker than Oriel on that one. Olivier Watson doing his best to stick with it.
Oliver making a bit of a mistake there. impressive. So Taylor Hamill passes Jamie Carpenter. But Carpenter, I don't know if you were aware, Jeff, but Carpenter had a big off at the end of pit lane this morning. He came out the berm and it looked like, I think he got the rear end over the berm and got onto the flat ground at the side, lit the rear up, but it high-sided him.
Conrad into that bit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he is pushing it because he doesn't normally look a little bit swirly, but like the last 2 laps, he's hit that bank and bounced off it.
Yeah.
Not like Conrad. He's normally a little bit smoother than that, but he is, I wouldn't say on the limit, but he realises let's get this race locked down early. And that last lap, look how he's now broken away. I saw earlier on, I couldn't help but noticing the 2 Putnam brothers having a battle down there as well.
Yes.
Sid now moving up to the 450 class.
But Conrad Muse then starting to eke out a decent advantage over Aurel Oliver. Watson there in third. So this is going to tighten up the championship. This will mean, by my rudimentary fingers and thumbs mathematics, that Conrad will go back to the head of the championship by a point from Aurel Oliver, with Watson back to third. But we've still got 20 minutes plus 2 laps to go, and this is why we're racing. And it's not settled until the end of Moto 2. But Muse was, I want to say, at the French International on Friday on their May Day race that they have over there, and was a decent third behind Jeffrey Hurlins and Maxime Renault. Tom Vial was there in attendance as well, and so that was a decent result for him. But Taylor Hamill there in 4th. He'd been dropped off by, we're almost 15 seconds from our race leader. Carpenter in 5th now, so that's a change. Hamill moved in front of Carpenter. Tom Grimshaw having a good ride in 6th. Durau is up to 7th, so the man from South Africa having a good showing. Husband in 8th, Eddie Wade 9th, and Bobby Bruce now up in 10th. I'm not sure who's dropped outside the top 10. We'll wait for the...
well, Edwards is currently 11th, Mira 12th, Travis Steels, and then Purdon in 14th.
Yeah, Purdon I think is the guy that was inside the top 10 that wasn't. But anyway, there's Aurel there. And we've seen, would you call him stocky or is he just small? You see him and he doesn't look like a motocross rider, does he? He's quite slight.
He's small and slight. I appreciate when I was doing the interview, obviously down there with his team manager, Sean Simpson, you don't get to hear that audio, but that's what we were talking about. And Sean was just basically saying how he caresses the bike. Sean's description of him was Prado-esque, which I thought was quite a good description.
Yeah, and you can
not just because he's Spanish, but because similar style, slight, light. And we were talking about how he's light on the bike. He never looks to be like heavy and smashing into stuff.
And this is where the lap time comes from. The guys, I was on the fence earlier on watching free practice and qualifying, and talking to a guy that I knew, and he was just saying, he said, how can Conrad look so slow and effortless and then just bang, and that was his fastest lap. And this is what happens. These guys, they just baby the bike around the track. They don't look like they're going fast everywhere. They're not slamming into things. The red plate holder of Ben Watson on the Dirt Store Triumph.
Going back to what I said very quickly earlier on, Phil, last night's Michelin Academy, and Conrad was our guest and talking about it, and he really emphasised the point with all the kids saying repetition, get in a routine, never miss it, stick with it, it turns round, and that is how you ultimately avoid injuries, get to the top. So what you're seeing now with Conrad breaking away is just endless training, repetition, motos, and all that. And of course, that's what you need to be an elite athlete.
And that is, like I say, when you put in the hard yards, it's certainly difficult when the results don't come. But providing you keep doing the right things, the right amount of time, eventually it will come right for an Oliver. That berm just started to get quite blown out.
There's Dave Thorpe, it's not. But it's one of Dave's replica shirts. Dave is watching at home. And right now he should be sat in his comfy chair, I should imagine, with a big grin on his face, because his rider is starting to break away at the front of this Pico MX1 class.
He'll be pleased with Jamie Carpenter as well, because, like I say, Jamie's he had a rough year last year with injuries as well, and but he's proving to be a good, solid top 5 rider. And almost he's there getting a little bit of a challenge now, maybe from Tom Grimshaw. He's not that's far away from a potential podium if he holds it together in this one and gets a good start in Moto 2. And we can always see this, that it doesn't take much. MX2 race 1, for instance, absolutely upside down results in that one. A lot of riders not figuring in the top 10 who are championship contenders.
Just looking, you can see on your K-Tech timing tower there where the battles are. Looks like there's a good battle shaping up between Carlton Husband, rider number 6, Eddie Wade, 217, and Bobby Bruce, and Jason Mira. There's not much between those guys as these top 3 start to spread out. Watson, if anything, is being dropped a little bit.
And I was thinking that looked like it had kind of stabilised. And Ben is always... Oh, Ben's gone off circuit there. Did you see that?
I did, yeah.
Blew the berm out and ended up over the top of it. And if you look at that, it's all rabbit holes and all sorts of stuff. You could quite easily go down there.
Oh, nearly tucked the front. That is, honestly, that corner goes and goes away from you. Yeah, and then you come back on the off counter, and there's a hard ridge in the bottom of that corner that comes out every year, like sandstone, and it can catch your front wheel.
We will see that as we get into our second group of motos coming up a little later on this afternoon, 20 to 3 for 125 race 2. This Dirt Store MXGB TV free live stream. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at MXGB-TV. Go to our website, mxgb-tv.co.uk. You can be watching us on MXGB TV on YouTube. Don't forget to leave us a comment. Tell us who your fancied winners and top 3 are. We do get to read through them afterwards. But there is Oliver then coming out of... That's a superb jump, that. And you can see that the gap to Ben Watson now is 3 and a bit seconds after that mistake from Watson in the woods on the previous lap.
Just going to rewind a little bit there, Phil. You say about that jump coming out of the sandpit. It is a brilliant jump. It takes commitment because it's slightly on the angle, and what happens is you jump into the bomb hole, and your suspension compresses, and then you're on the upstroke as you hit that thing, and it gives you extra ping. For a ski jump, it's a big old flying jump.
Yes.
And you don't want to get it wrong coming out of there because it doesn't end well.
Let's give a shout out to the locals then. Bailey Sutton and Sean Southgate battling then for 15th and 16th. They're both local guys to this neck of the woods. We don't see Sean at that many of the races these days, but he still comes out and rides this Lyng track quite regularly. There's Watson then. Like I say, Taylor Hamill then on the DRT Kawasaki.
But that's not Taylor, because look at the gap. 28 seconds behind race leader. So
that's the 441 of Joe Phillips.
Yeah, so Joe getting some British Championship experience, and that's the beauty of where we're at with it now. You know, I'd love to think we could get more than 40 riders in an MX1, because we could. And if we do, if we get 50, we're going to an LCQ. So when this British Championship comes to you regionally, book in. Yeah. Give it a go. What have you got to lose? Come
and ride your local race. It's a big commitment to do all of them, but if you can do the ones that you can get to easily, and that's what swells the grid and gives us the depth of talent. And once you come and have a go, you know, oh, hang on a minute, I'm here, and you might sniff a point, you might end up only finishing 25th, but at least you can say that you've tried your arm against the best riders in the country. Well, as we look at Ben Watson on the Dirt Store Triumph, he's been really good this year on that bike. He's found his feet with it pretty much straight away. I know that he's not had the best of MX1 careers after losing his MX1 ride with the factory Yamaha team through no fault of his own. And obviously, I don't know whether you remember what happened there, but with the fact that Maxime Renault won the World Championship against the runner plate because Tom Vial got basically wiped out by Rowan van der Moosdijk, it meant that there was no room left at the table for Ben Watson with the contract that Renault had got written that he would go to a 450 ride after winning the 250 championship, which he managed to do a year early, and unfortunately for that, it scooted Ben out of what I thought was going to be a very conducive ride for him and where he was in his career.
It's honestly, Phil, that I've never been a factory rider at that level, but obviously I've raced at a high standard, and you get that opportunity to be a factory rider, but that's not clear cut that it's always going to go your way and improve your result.
Definitely
because there's a lot of different pressures. Like when he was on factory Kawasaki, all of a sudden You know, he was the lone rider out there. You know, there's a lot of pressure on him to go and deliver those results.
With no backup of a teammate, because obviously
that's what I mean,
when that all changed and they went from Husky to Kawasaki, because obviously the factory Kawasaki team moved from...
it was all in its infancy.
Yeah, it was all on him.
And then all eyes were on him. I will say this, though. I think Ben, speaking to him now, I think he's in a good place. I think he's happy to be back racing in the UK. We're certainly happy to have him back because he brings a lot to it.
There is now that is Tristan Purdon. That is Taylor Hamill on the Kawasaki. So we picked up the man on the DRT Kawasaki. He's been good this year. I would have liked to have thought he would have been a little bit closer to the front three, but like I say, he's running for a championship as well. So if those three guys in front of him are gone, if he's going to be fourth by 2 seconds or fourth by 20 seconds, he still gets the same amount of points.
He's being the best of the rest, and what I would say is that highlights what Sean Simpson was talking about before we went into this race. Each track has certain good points and bad points. One of the things with Lyng is the emphasis on getting a good start is greater here than many others because of the course design. You come off the start, you go into a couple of pinch points, you drop into the sandpit and Honda, and you can lose a lot of time at this place on the first lap. And I think that's what's genuinely happened here. Our top three contenders were all in the top three with a clear track and got away. And I would have thought on another track, Taylor, if he gated fourth, would have been a bit closer. So he's got a lot of work to do. But like you say, he's in a comfortable fourth. Fastest lap of the race. Well, let's see where we're at with that. It's still Conrad Mewes on a 2:08.496. Felix Tall's fastest lap of the race.
I'll say no surprise. But Hamill is he always looked like a guy that was just waiting to get on a 450. I've said that many times before, but I remember seeing him I think he was in EMX at Matterley, and he just watched the way that he just looked like a proper rider. His stance on the bike, the way that he rides and everything. So he's there. So Doral, he's still there in 7th, but he's got a decent gap to close down Tom Grimshaw. But a top 10 for the man from Peter Maritzburg. Well, we've got lots of family watching back home there in South Africa, so a hat tip to you guys. Your guy is going pretty well, consider he's never seen the bike or the track until this morning. And a 7th place so far in this, company is a decent showing.
It is. I'm looking further down the field, still on the timing screen here. The battle that we are trying to find for you out on track is still really going off between Eddie Wade, Jason Mira, Bobby Bruce and Ben Edwards. There's 4 riders there, and there's 3 seconds between the 4, so I'll let you work out how tight
that's tight. But like I say, most of our cameras doing double duty on different parts of the track, so really not easy to do. And they'll say the contrast of the shadows, the sun is behind the clouds a little bit now, so it's not as bright as it was. But Hamill on the Kawasaki.
I will say this much though, Phil, I get to walk down to the winner's circle and back. It is the temperature and the cloud cover is, but you couldn't got it really any better from a rider's standpoint. The temperatures are perfect, not too hot, obviously not too cold either. People wearing t-shirts, but it's a nice ambient temperature out there, which will help a rider on a circuit like this.
So just looking at the lower end of the leaderboard there, Charlie Cole, he was right at the back on the opening lap, and he's pushed his way through on the 772 Kawasaki. He is now in the points in 20th place, so he's going to get something for his efforts at least if he manages to hold on to that 20th place. But our race leader Conrad Mewes then from Aurel Oliver, 11 seconds now. Jeff, that's a country mile. Watson a further 3 seconds adrift of Oliver. And then it's Hamill, Grimshaw and Carpenter, Doral, Husband, Eddie Wade and Jason Mira rounding out your top 10 of this first of our Apico Factory Racing MX1 motos of the day here from Lyng.
Yeah, Conrad really finding his zone now. Want to try to make a statement. As we said, we are not even close to the halfway stage. 11 motos in this championship to go after this one. That's still a long way to go. Varying circuits that we're going to go to. We're going to go to the complete contrast of Lyng. Next time out in a couple of weeks, we're down there in Cornwall, just over the border on a hard-packed circuit. But another venue that Conrad knows pretty well, as does this guy. living down south. They've been there enough times. Local hero, unfortunately, Josh Gilbert will not be racing that one, but maybe we can get him along in the booth, because he can definitely give us some insights of how to get around Landrake.
That would be cool. So Cole up to 18th. We've lost Eddie Wade. I was looking there to see somebody has disappeared. Eddie Wade now back to 20th. So Ben Edwards then on the KTM is up to 10th. Bobby Bruce 11th. Purden 12th. Travis Steele's 13th. Bailey's Uttin 14th. Good ride for him. Murphy 15th. Sean Southgate 16th. Max Broadbelt 17th. Charlie Cole 18th. Charlie Putnam 19th. And Stevie Clark on the Starkvarg Future. He is there in 20th performer, for MX 85cc World Champion.
So we're just gonna, you'll probably see the camera and just camera crew out there just scanning around, because there we go. So what's that? 103.
That's Max Broadbelt,
yeah,
I think.
It is. Max still going strong. Fair play. And again, good to see the local Eastern Centre riders out there. Sean Southgate, always good chatting with Sean. Still going strong in this, and we've mentioned it before. Not only is Norwich Viking a brilliant club in this south-eastern centre, they produce some great riders as well in this part of the world. They've got some lovely tracks up and around this part of the country. Obviously, we're at final round as well. We're going to Blacksall, another great circuit up and around in the southeast. As you can see, we're just scanning back further down the field. While we do that, I'm going to just highlight that jump there. It looks straightforward. It's not. You hit that on the turn, it goes from soft to hard. It's very easy for the front end to break loose and the rear end. Back to Conrad, who is now 16 seconds. Oh, wow. Watson, something happened there then, because when we last looked, Watson was about 3 seconds behind Oriol Olivier, but now he's effectively 2 seconds in front. So
Olivier's had a tip-off looking at the gap at 18 seconds, Jeff. That looks like
let's
Olivier
see what his last lap time was. Yeah, his last lap time dropped down to a 2:24, so it was definitely a mistake from Oriel. And that last lap around
is important for the championship, because it's a however many point swing. It's a 4-point swing, because obviously 25 for the win. They're not all good. They can't all be tied.
Here we go. Now this is further down the field. This has been some good stuff. There is Carlton Husband on the Phoenix Tools. He's going to be Mira running it in there. Lovely. Feet up as well. Talk about audacity.
Yeah, so Mira then up to 8th.
Yeah,
and, so that's a good pass from Jason Mira, the man on the Yamaha.
And just behind these guys is the Scotsman Ben Edwards. So without sounding like it's some kind of UK joke, we've got an Irishman.
Yes.
A Scotsman, going at it there with an Englishman sandwich in between.
But here's Conrad.
Look at that. That was one that cool.
Yeah.
The little clutch trigger over that braking bump. Just jumped over those bumps. Beautiful stuff. So Conrad in his groove.
Yes. I do like that blue kit as well.
GFL, I'll get you some for your birthday.
Is that right? Yeah. I need a new set.
Hit DT up. He'll give you a spare set.
But I'm pretty sure that I'm not getting a set of Conrad's old ones. That's a certainty. But he's in the rhythm now. He's finding all the nice smooth lines. You can see he's cutting the corner, going out wide, cutting back tight, missing all the ruts. And this is where this track develops, especially this field here.
Yeah,
really the race as the day goes on. As he just puts
what I would say as well, Phil, because he's got that
Tom Murphy,
because he's got that buffer. This is how top riders obviously think. They also use that time, but they're not under pressure. He's already probably got his mind on lines for race 2.
Yeah, definitely. And as like I say, this part of the circuit as well gets really bad. And when you see what it's like first thing in the morning, I mean, like I say, how steep that jump is, and the landing there, that is almost a dead stop landing. It's really hard.
It's just a straight kind of like 45 up there, well, more than 90. But again, a big old berm builds up there out of view.
Mira is looking like he's closing in on Cameron Duro a little bit as well, so maybe the Irishman can get his teeth into the South African in this final minute and a bit of this first Pico Factory Racing MX1 race. But our race leader then is going to get across the line. It will be 2 laps to go next time by.
That's nice, and caressed it. Didn't ride it, didn't override the bike there. Early laps, he was pushing it, particularly coming out of the sandpit and down to the pond. There, just nice roll speed, not breaking smooth, but not too hard, not killing all his momentum. And of course, when you've gapped out the field like that and you're feeling it, you can inevitably relax more and go even quicker.
Yeah, look, he's definitely got the measure of everybody here in this first moto. But again, Ben Watson might be. I did see this morning that they swapped seats during practice and qualifying right at the end. Looked like the one that was coming off the number 2 bike was maybe a little taller with a slightly different hump position that they went out and tried. So all of these things that are available to these riders to try and get their extra comfort level for any given situation. So it might be that the Dirt Store Triumph team can go back and maybe make a couple of changes to make him feel a little bit more comfortable. Or maybe it's just one of those days where Conrad Mewse is on fire and this is what we're going to get in race 2. But we will wait and see. This is why we race, because nothing is ever over until it's over.
No, not in this game. Professional sport in general, but obviously motorsport has many moving parts.
It does.
In the bike alone, so lots of things can happen there.
So Eddie Wade was a DNF then, looks like a mechanical. It's looking out of the window in the booth as the dirt
that's
store.
a shame. He was running quite high up early doors, but we're assuming it. Well, I haven't said that, Phil. The front end of the number plate is all hanging off.
So maybe, it does. It looks like that's been down the track. So not mechanical. Looks like it is an off for Eddie Wade, which is a shame. He was inside the top 10, but it just goes to show, as we saw in MX2 race 1, this track can indeed bite you, and you least expect it. Watching Mewse up there in practice and qualifying, Jeff, and he was pre-jumping over from about 3 or 4 feet from the top and just squashing the takeoff so perfectly. So 2 laps to go then. Time is up for the Crendon True 7 Honda of Conrad Mewse, who was bounced back. This is his first race victory of the year, because obviously Jeffrey Hurley's done both race victories at Preston Docks, and Hawkstone was a race win apiece for Ben Watson and Oriol Oliver.
Well, there's 1 lap to go. I'll get on the move in a minute and get down there, but statement at this stage, you know, he came into round 1, he wasn't happy, he was honest and open in the winner's circle, saying that it wasn't good enough. Got to find more. Here we are, round 3, opening moto, and he's got an 18-second lead over his 2 nearest rivals.
Yeah, that's a beat down, that is, and so he's just coming up to put a lap on. I think there's at Bailey's up to him. It's just fast, but so he is definitely feeling it round here. And like I say, he raced on Friday. These pros get about a bit. And was talking to Dave Grimshaw. Tom Grimshaw was also possibly going to go and do that race, but just didn't pan out for them at the last minute, so he didn't go. But Grimshaw then has managed to pass Jamie Carpenter, so we missed that. So a good 5th place. How far is Tom off the back of Taylor Hamill? Probably looks like quite a lot, and Hamill certainly.
Well, no, not really. I think that he's only a second or so, but second off of Hamill by the looks of it.
Okay, so Tom Grimshaw on the move. We're going to follow Conrad Mewse home and trying to pick anybody up at this late stage.
Oh no, sorry, no, the gap is huge. I misread that.
Yeah, so he's not that time.
He's about 30 seconds off him.
The gap is big. Yeah, we can see that on the screen. So Jeff is going to make his way down to the winner's circle and talk to who we can only assume is going to be Conrad Mewse. See that rut down the inside there, the last lap board goes out. Up the start straight for the final time. And it has been a clinic from the Crendon True 7 Honda man. Ben Watson not able to hang on in the opening laps on the Dirt Store Triumph, and Oriol Oliveira as well as he tried. ended up making a mistake and dropping to third, and they will all go back and have a bit of a rethink in the break. What can we do to stay near Conrad Muse? As we see many times, these guys, when they're on it, they're on it. And this is a return to form then. The man from the West Country. And look at that, just not blasting into the berm, staying nice and low. They will accelerate over this jump, and then this part of the track, if you stand by the side of that jump so fast, you do not get the feeling of speed looking at that camera shot as they go away from you. Down through the bottom end of the avenue here. Muse will take victory from Ben Watson with Auriel Oliver in third, Hamill fourth, Grimshaw fifth, Jamie Carpenter sixth, Cameron DeRoe in a good seventh, Mira eighth, Carlton Husband ninth, and Ben Edwards in 10th. All of those guys will be pleased with their points haul. Over for the final time down the hill. And there we are, race victory then for Conrad Muse on the Crendon True 7 Honda. 25 minutes plus 2 laps of absolute perfection from the man on the 450 Honda. Taking his first race victory of the year in the Motul ACU British Championship. And he will be pleased with that. Here is second place man Ben Watson then on the Dirt Store Triumph. He will, there's Stevie Clark coming in on the start, so that's managed the full race distance. That's good for them. Here's Oliver. Almost surprised to see the checkered flag, Auriel Oliver. And then it is, they will be waiting